Hello everybody, this is Dr. Novak again. These are some photos that I was sent from one of the hobbyists that watch my videos. He has two uplift tubes, but he does cut those down so they're not quite as long. But this is his plenum. I imagine he got all this off the internet, and this is his finished product of what he did. As you can see, the uplift tube definitely is a lot shorter than what it was. I don't know what size tank this is, if this is a 40 or 60. It looks like it's higher than it is longer. But yeah, it looks pretty good, if you ask me. And of course, he made it with the rock stone, so he could do a lot with this, whether it be Mabunas or whatever he plans on using with this particular aquarium. I'm sure he's not done. He's probably going to add more to it. So, and this is the Red Sea Aquarium. Very nice with Kessel lighting on it. The Kessel lighting really helps make the substrate outstanding. Before, the old lighting he had was basically for saltwater aquariums. And this new Kessel lighting, this is the sun lighting that Kessel makes for planted aquariums. And look at that. Boy, that looks super nice, doesn't it? Kind of makes you jealous. But, you know, he got a lot of money tied up in that aquarium. Well, everybody does when you have your main aquarium. But one thing I wanted to bring up right away before I get into what the video is about, which will be just a short video, is the fact that I watched some videos, and I've been talking to some of the hobbyists who watch my station. I'm not going to mention names. I'm not going to mention the YouTube video, but the individual has substrate at the bottom of his aquarium, and he tests for his nitrates, and his nitrates are 5 parts per million, and then the next time he tests, the nitrates are 0, and he goes, see, I don't need an Anoxic filter. I got an Anoxic filter. Well, you know, this is how, to me, this hobbyist gets all screwed up. Somebody like this, without testing, without doing any research, comes up and says, I threw my gravel at the bottom and I have 0 nitrates, and therefore I have an Anoxic filter. So you don't have to do what Dr. Novak says on his Anoxic filter. You can just do it this way. But he's got no proof. He's got he's got plants in the aquarium. He's got other things that change the equation of what he's doing, why his nitrates could be used up. And he has no proof of the oxygen levels. He has no proof of what the oxygen is at the very bottom of the aquarium. It may not be that low. It may be low. We don't know, because he doesn't bring up facts. He just makes a claim. I have an Anoxic filter and it's working and I didn't have to use a plenum. This is how things in this hobby get all messed up and get misinformation out there. People don't do any research. I understand it takes time, it takes money, it takes a lot of time. It takes years to do the research. And then when you do a test, then you have to do it again, and you have to do it again, and you have to do it at least 10 times to see 1 out of 10. And that doesn't even make it conclusive, because now you have to have long-term research on that. And that takes years, just like it did me. I had to get beta testing ponds and everything else set up, and had to get years of information off of these ponds to get the right and correct information for the hobbyist. You just can't put substrate at the bottom of your aquarium. You're using plants and everything, because I've already shown videos where a guy used CO2 and everything, and how his nitrates and phosphates were 0, and he had a substrate directly on the bottom, but he was using a lot of plants and stuff like this. The individual uses plants. Well, you don't know if the plants took the nitrates and converted it into ammonia in a 2-step reduction process. We don't know that. Okay, he doesn't have a lot of fish. You know, if you look at my little 20-gallon tank, I have 2 big 3.5-inch parrotfish now in a little 20-gallon tank, and they get fed, 6, 7 times a day. That's a big difference because than what he may be doing. His feeding may be a lot less than what I'm feeding. And I've talked to several hobbyists about this, and they said, we're looking at these videos, and nobody has any fish in their tank. All they have is a planted aquarium, and very little fish. I even saw one guy said he only feeds his fish once a day, maybe once every other day. Okay? You're literally starving your fish just to keep your nitrates and phosphates and prevent you from having algae problems because you're so scared that the system you are using will collapse and your tank will just turn into a big mess. I mean, the fish load is almost nothing. And when we go to fish load, don't get confused with length of a fish compared to mass of a fish. I can put 3-inch, 4-inch dojos in my aquarium and say, oh, I got 10 3-inch fish in my aquarium. Well, that's a lot different than if I said I have a 3-inch goldfish. There's more mass. There's more food being eaten by that one goldfish than the dojos. You understand what I'm saying? Length doesn't always predict and dictate anything about your nitrogen cycle or anything else because length is just a guideline. It is not, set in stone because you have to go by mass. How much mass is in your aquarium? So if he had the same aquarium and he has as much mass as I did, the guy who said he had an anoxic filter and he didn't have to worry about, making a plenum or anything, his mass is not the same as my mass. Okay. He's got a lot lighter load and he doesn't show any results. He doesn't show redox. He doesn't show oxygen levels. He doesn't show anything like that. So you can grab and say, oh, and understand me. I can care less if someone achieves something different. I can care less. But misinformation, you're allowed to your opinion, but you're not allowed to give misinformation on that opinion. Okay? And that's what destroys the hobby. The misinformation that's out there that destroys the hobby for the people who are trying to do good and save their aquatic animals. If you're just looking to make a fish tank, plenty of ways of doing it. But if you're looking to make a fish tank and now you're looking to have a lot of mass as far as fish load goes, well, then you have to do it the right way so your system doesn't wind up, collapsing on you and you wind up with all kinds of big, huge problems. Okay, that's all I'm going to say about that. Remember, when you watch some of these videos, you may have to watch them and use, common sense and look at them with a grain of salt on what they're saying. And always ask yourself the questions, well, what proof do you have of what you're doing that it is working? And let us know as the hobbyists, if you're going to make a video, let us know and back it up so we don't get misinformation in this hobby. Okay, that's enough of that. I wanted to show you some of the updates. I added another plugin, which will take 6 more plugins that I have, plus the one I have on the right-hand side, which you can't see. Added a light, which was a good idea. And I think this extra plugin is a good idea that I thought maybe 6 be enough, but someone suggested I should add more. And I guess that was a good suggestion because, yeah, every time you start plugging in stuff, you realize, oh, I forgot about this, or I forgot it. Maybe I need another heater instead of 1 heater, 2 heaters. So yeah, that was a good idea that I added more of that. Another thing I added to the bottom of the pull-out shelves is wood. I got some oak from the hardware store, cut it up, and I sealed it all. so water will not warp it or do anything in case anything does spill on that shelf. It won't bother anything. And as you can see here by the size of this ADA 2400 canister, it's a very large canister and very heavy. I will be connecting up the hoses long enough so it could be disconnected, but I had to put wood underneath it, and in my last video I explained I had to cut away the metal bars because the canister is so large it wouldn't fit, but it works out fine now, and everything's been sealed, so I shouldn't have a problem. I just thought I'd give you a little bit of an update with that, and if you can think of anything else, because right now, you know, your mind goes blank, and also when you get it all set up, then you think, oh, I should have done this or I should have done that, because now it's inconvenient to do it. Where it's in the garage, it's more convenient to do all your drilling and everything else that I have to do. So if you can think of anything else I need to add to it, let me know in the comments below. And thank you very much for watching. Until next time, happy aquarium keeping.